Hello, my name is Mrs. Overish, and this is Math Mania for 1st and 2nd graders. I'm so happy you're here today. Let's learn something new in math. Today we're going to be talking about adding 3-digit numbers that need regrouping. Ooh. But we're going to be using a place value chart, so all you need today is a piece of paper and a pencil. Let's go ahead and get started with our I can statement. Our I can statement says, I can add 3-digit numbers with grouping by using a place value chart. So this sounds very similar to what we talked about last week, where we know that word add means to put together or to combine or to join. So I'm going to say put together or join. And 3-digit numbers we know is a number with 3 digits. And with regrouping, I know we talked about regrouping when we were adding 2-digit numbers. Do we think it means the same thing? Yeah, it definitely does. When we regroup something, we're really just moving it in and out of different places. So it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm putting it in a new group. So when we do this with math, we're moving them from place value to place value. So regrouping is really just to move or reorganize into a different place value. So I'm just going to put reorganize. And then by using a place value chart, and our place value chart helped us last week add 3-digit numbers, and it's going to really help us this week when we get to that regrouping piece because it's a really good visual. So this tool is going to help us see all the different values of the numbers, and then we'll be able to regroup to see all the different values as well. So our place value chart shows us the value of each number. Okie dokie, let's get started. Our first one that we see is 461 plus 256. Now that we're adding this regrouping step, all we really have to do is add just one more step. Does anybody remember the first step when using a place value chart and adding? Yeah, all we have to do is put our numbers in base 10 form or put them into the chart. So let's go ahead and put that number 461 into the hundreds, tens, and ones place. Now last week I talked about how important it is that we always start in the ones place, and that's really going to come into play this week. I'll show you what I mean when we get to it. So 461, I see there's a 1 in the ones place, a 6 in the tens place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 4 in the hundreds place. So I draw 4 hundreds. Now I can't stop there. I got to move to our next step. Our next step is to put the number 256 in base 10 form in the same chart. So I see there's a 6 in the ones place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A 5 in the tens place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 2 in the hundreds place. 1, 2. Now we get to count it up. It's basically the same steps as last week, but there's going to be something a little different about halfway through our counting up. So let's look. So we start in our ones place. We always want to start in the ones place. So I count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So I go ahead and put my 7. Everything seems normal. Everything seems good. Let's count up our tens. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is definitely a number that's bigger or has 2 digits. I can't just put the number 11 in the tens place because when I come to write my problem down, that wouldn't make any sense for me to write the 11 there. I have to make this number a number that only has ones. So I have to essentially remove the tens place of the number 11. And I do that by taking away 1 or 10 tens. And when I take away my 10 tens, it becomes one group of 100. Because if I were to count 10 tens, I'd get to 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I can't just move 5 over, because then that's only 50. And 50 is not the same as one group of 100. I can't just move over 1, because that's how many I have too many, because then that would just be 10. And 10 just can't fit into my hundreds column. So I take a full group of 10. So I can make one full 100. So I'm going to circle 10 of my tens. 10 tens. And I'm going to circle 10 of them. And I'm going to draw an arrow and bring them on over to my hundreds place. They now become one group of 100 because 10 tens is 100. Now I come back to my tens column, and how many do I have left? I have 1 left. So now I have 1 in my tens column. Now it's done. And I can move on to my hundreds column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 6. I had to bring 1 over, so now that makes it 7. Now I have my answer, 717. All right. So that's why it's so important that we start in that ones column. Because if we were to start here, I would have counted these up and I would have said, oh, there's 6. And then I would have gotten here and I've been like, oh no. Now I have to go back and fix that because that's no longer 6, it's now 7. So we always want to start in our ones column. Let's go ahead and try one together. You're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil, and we're going to write the problem and make our own hundreds, tens, and ones chart at home so you can follow along. Okay, now that you have your piece of paper ready to go, I want you to write the problem 678 plus 215. Make sure we have it all lined up neat and nice. Our numbers are facing the right direction so that we're ready to go. When you're finished copying the problem, I want you to draw your own hundreds, tens, and ones. Last week I talked about how the best way to do this is just to take your pencil and with whatever space you have left on your paper, draw one line across. And then you'll take 2 lines to draw down, leaving space in the middle of them for that tens column. We want to label our chart by putting an H for the hundreds place, a T for the tens place, and an O for the ones place. Seems like we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and put the number 678 in our chart. So I want to start in the ones place, and I see that there's an 8. So I'm going to draw 8 ones. Let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to move to my tens column. How many tens do you see? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how many hundreds? That's right, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, of course, we need to do the same thing for the number 215. So I take my 215 and I look at my ones place. I see a 5. So I'm going to put a 5 ones in my ones place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many tens do I have? 1. And how many hundreds? 2. Now we get to count everything up. Which column should we start in? The hundreds, tens, or ones? I hope everyone's yelling ones place, ones place. Always start in the ones place. So we come to our ones place and let's count everything up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can't just come over here and write 13 in the ones place. Ooh, what should I do? What can I do? Well, I know that if I take 10 ones, that would equal one group of 10. So if I take 10 ones away, would I have a number that I would be able to put into this spot? I would. So again, I'm going to count up 10. I'm going to circle them, and I'm going to move them on over to the next place value. I can't just move away how many I need to be moved. Let's say I moved away 3. 3 ones does not equal 110. I have to do 10. The lucky number is always 10. So I'm going to count up 10. And I put a little circle on it, and I drag it over, and I add it to my tens place. Now, how many do we have left in the ones place? We have 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and count up our tens now. We can't forget the one we just added. Let's maybe start with it so we don't forget it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is a good number to have. And then finally we count up our hundreds place. And how many hundreds do you see? You're right, there's 8. So now, whoops, my 8 didn't make it. There we go. Now we have our answer, 893. How about you go ahead and flip your paper over and let's get ready for another one. Now that you have your paper flipped over, on it I want you to write 427 plus 384. After you have written the problem down, go ahead and create your hundreds, tens, and ones chart. All right, so 427 is our first number we're going to put into our chart today. And I know that I'm going to start in my ones place, so I see 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I move to my tens where I have 2. Move to my hundreds where I have 4. And we're going to do the same thing with our number 384. So again, I start in my ones column, and how many ones do we have? That's right, we have 4. Move to my tens column where I have how many? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And lastly, go to my hundreds column where I have how many? 3. Okie dokie. Now let's count it up. So I start with my tens column. No. Should I start with my hundreds column? No. What column do I start with? The ones place. Let's start with the ones place. Let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not 11 again. Ugh. I know that it can't be 11. I know that that's not right. So what do? I need to regroup. So I need to regroup my ones into one group of 10. How many ones do I need to make one group of 10? 10 ones. So I take 10 ones and I make it into one group of 10. With how many left over? Just 1. Now I can count up my tens. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not again. I have 11 again. I had 10, but then I had this one come on over. Just all uninvited and stuff. So, but thankfully we know exactly what to do, right? So if I have 11 and I need to regroup my tens, I want to make them into one 100. How many tens do I need? That's right, I need 10 tens to make one 100. So I bring around 10 tens and I make one 100. How many do I have left? Just 1. And I count up my hundreds. I hope I don't have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yay. So I have 8. So now I have 811. So 427 plus 384 equals 811. Now, it would not be Math Mania without a challenge question. So, get ready. Get a new piece of paper if you need it, or find space on the paper you already have. Our challenge question is a word problem, and it probably has my dog Rosie in it. So as you're listening to this problem, think about the numbers that you're going to need to add together. Here's the problem. Mrs. Overish took Rosie to the dog park. She loves the dog park. We saw 524 dogs by the lake. It was total mayhem. So 524 dogs were by the lake. We then saw 349 dogs by the rocks. How many dogs did Rosie and I see? Way too many for the park. So by the lake, we saw 524. Then we saw 349 by the rocks. How many dogs did we see? Step 1, let's stack it up and set it up. So we have 524 by the lake plus 429 by the rocks. Next, you want to draw your hundreds, tens, and ones chart. Don't forget to put both numbers in expanded form. You're going to have to regroup. You can do this. All right. Good luck. I can't wait to hear about all the dogs that Rosie and I saw. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Mrs. Overish, and this is Math Mania. I'll see you next time.